All right, we're live.
Open up with a little prayer. Pray to God or Yahweh, Allah, the astrology people, whoever you want to fucking pray to. Say your prayers now. The baseball gods are really a couple of motherfuckers. I'll tell you what. You know? Like if there's one guy, legitimately, truly, one guy who doesn't deserve it, is Jacob deGrom. Everything we know about him, everything Trevor May just confirmed on our last episode. If you haven't heard it, go listen to the episode on Monday, Tuesday. I mean, an hour long with Trevor May, and we talked about Jake and just how he hasn't changed and he stays so humble and he just, God. How is he this good if he's hurt? Imagine his full strength.
Now, fucking 3 perfect innings, 8 strikeouts. Like, he had 8 strikeouts yesterday, and I wasn't even like, oh my God, what a crazy performance. I'm like, okay, yeah, 8 strikes against the fucking Cubs. It's crazy that he's doing that. What hurt?
I know what you're saying, that it's ho-hum, but I was like, where he's about to do it, man. Like, we're going to see 20 Ks or we're going to see a perfect game or a no-hitter. It was 9 batters, 8 strikeouts is fucking bananas, man. And if it wasn't for that Ortega at bat that took like 11 or 12 pitches, I feel like he would have been, So, shoulder soreness can mean, the sky is falling, or it can mean like literally soreness. So the way Jake was talking was like, I just wanted to be overly cautious because, if you really were good for those 3, that good for those 3 innings, if he told me like, from the jump yesterday, my arm was barking and I just powered through it. But it was like, I was totally fine. And then I just felt a little something and I'm playing it safe. I just hope that's more the truth and he's not just saying that. But by now, dude, the finger, I guess, right, is the right flexor tendonitis or whatever that was, is the finger. And he had like the lat or something. And then this, it's like,
had the back. Kyle, listen, all back stiffness, right lat soreness, right side tightness, right flexor tendonitis, right shoulder soreness. Like it's fucking the Jed Lowry right side. It's just right side.
Yeah, it's a hockey injury now. Like lower body, half body. I say shut him down for like. Well, wait a minute. When's the All-Star break? Is that early July?
Yeah,
or like
second week of July. I think it's like. Right after, which they say, did you hear that we have the Pirates before and after the All-Star break? So
hell yeah,
basically,
that's great.
Okay,
that's July 13th.
So, when is it?
July 13th.
See, that's a little like if it was early July, I was gonna say, kind of shut him down now and let it run into the All-Star break, and then even if you have the you don't want to take anybody for granted, but maybe you can skip his start after the All-Star break, and next thing you know, you got like almost a month out of it with him only missing like 3 starts. But if it's mid-July, that's kind of tough. But I'm saying, man, well, the part of me wants him to come back because I think this would have been his masterpiece and this would have been the greatest season, at least by some metrics. It's going to always be hard. He's not going to have any complete games and he's not going to throw the same amount of innings and all that shit. But by a lot of metrics, I think this was going to be the greatest pitching season of all time. So I want that. But now might be the time. There's 2 things for me. I want Jake to have the best season of all time. And 2, as a Mets fan, taking anything for granted is very dangerous. But if you're really going to think logically about this, it looks like the NL East is pretty bad. It looks like the Mets are the best team in that division. And if we're healthy, would probably – there's always one division in the league you just don't even you don't even look at because it's like, oh yeah, the fucking Giants are going to run away with it with like a 14-game lead. I think out of all of baseball, the NL East is the most poised division to do that. So in my long-winded way of saying, like, if there was ever a time, team, and season to do it, to shut this guy down for a little while and just try to coast and hope that, they can pick up the slack, it's probably this guy, this team, this season right now.
The team, the time, shut Jake the fuck down. There you go. There's your fucking model, Stevie.
And also we tried, like, we skipped one, we shut him down, we brought him back. Like, we've been doing this little half measures dance I say just give him a break. Like, so what if you shut him down right now and we win his next 2 starts and the team's still holding a 5-game lead and then the All-Star break is coming? Like, you can kind of, hopefully if you put him on the IL and then kind of day-to-day him, it's like you kind of make your decision. Like, we'll see where we're at. And if we're still winning and we still got a big lead, sit him down again. I feel like we can shut him down for a little bit and then play it by ear and keep this dude in bubble wrap until we absolutely need him. Because hopefully, again, I always try to think about other teams. If the White Sox had an injury right now, I'd be like, you guys are going to the postseason. So just fucking start worrying about October. But it's, I can't do that as a Mets fan because nothing's ever, you can't take anything for granted. So it's hard. But if you're thinking about it logically and investment wise and, just what's best. If you just told me player A is doing this and here are his injuries and he's on team B and team B has a 5-game lead in the division, you would say shut him down. But knowing that it's the Mets, it's hard,
Yeah, and this, like, you kind of alluded to.
I just saw that there. His next start. If Jacob deGrom pitches his next turn, I'm gonna fucking explode. Are we not all on the same page with that? I think he absolutely needs to at least miss a start. No,
I want that dude I want him in a hyperbaric chamber. I want that dude frozen like Captain America. Wake up in October. I will see you.
If that somehow happens, we need to make like a Demolition Man Millmore video where it's like, and he comes out and there's like smoke and
I want him. Maybe this is like overconfident now, like you said, taking things for granted, like the Mets. But now that we have Steve Cohen and we can actually think about the future, I want him to be the secret weapon. I want him to come out. I want him to be the acquisition that we make if this is any kind of nagging, unless he is just being super, super cautious. Because if it's not stuff that's like building on each other and it's not stuff that like if you rest it, it's going to help, which is entirely possible. But I'm just like, right now, everybody's cruising. Everybody's playing great. Let's take care of him, please.
This team, too. This is the one team that has shown us they can overcome all the bullshit, right? And
this is the time.
Yeah, and look, I don't like it's double headers. It's in the division, but like it's double headers. The Nationals, they're more fucked than we are. They have Strasburg and actually they're about as fucked as we are now because our top 2 are out. Strasburg, Scherzer. I know Corbin has been a disaster for most of the season. So it's like, and like all the teams in the division, the Braves are kind of going through their shit, and we have the biggest lead in baseball right now, which is crazy as it sounds, right?
And, these guys were 3 of the top 10 pitchers. So if you tell me, we're gonna take out Jake for a little while, but your new 1 and 2, your 2-3 has been bumped up to your 1-2. Are guys with, Taijuan Walker is an ace, fucking bona fide ace. If you're saying like, all right, we're not going to pitch Jake, we're going to go rely on Walker and Stroman. That's pretty fucking good. If this was the days of Johan and nobody else on the mound, it's like we need this guy. But what scares me is that we know that Jake is a gamer. So does that mean like if he's coming out, it really hurts him, or is he thinking? Is he more logical? I got an opt-out. I could get some big money. I'm really dialed in, so maybe this is the year. He might be thinking this is my best shot at a ring, getting to the postseason, all that shit. So let me play it safe. I would love to be able to get an honest answer from him, but you're probably never going to get that when it comes to.
I think that's probably what it is. If it was the same injury every single time, then I think he'd be like, all right, let me shut it down. This is like you bring your car in because you have a warning light on. And they get that to shut down, and then you take it out of the shop, and then another light goes on. You're like, well, what the fuck's going on here? And you bring it back in because you don't want to drive it. That's it. Yeah. So he's saying, why is it all week I'm throwing my bullpens and I feel perfectly fine, and through the first 2 innings I'm cruising, and then next thing I know it's like instant. Where if he's feeling like some sort of like heat or like electricity running through his body on like a certain pitch, I'd do the same thing. I'd be like, listen, I just struck out 8. I'm not trying to like hop out of here, but I'm not trying to fuck up the rest of the year either.
I will tell you Mama Clance's explanation, and then I will tell you my explanation. Mama Clance says he's too good, and then he needs to stop striking people out. She says that he's overpowering. She blamed the Cubs last night. She said the fucking Cubs can't put a single ball in play, so he's got to strike out all these guys, and he's throwing extra overpowering pitches and injuring himself. Might be something to it if these fucking bitch-ass Cubs could put the ball in play and maybe get a couple at bats where he only throws 2 or 3 pitches instead of overpowering him with 7 or 8 every time. Maybe he wouldn't be as fatigued.
She's so greedy. Because she's just like, if he's that good, why can't he just find a way to pitch 9? Like it's just like a choice. Like it's just a choice. Like, I don't know, throw it straight at their bats so that the ball grounds out. I don't think I don't think that's it, Mom.
The conversation I had with her in the last couple of days, she is adamant that the sticky stuff needs to be eliminated from baseball. She's like, these guys are cheating. And I was like, well, it depends on what stuff you're talking about. The sunscreen is doesn't give you an advantage, and she, it just helps with grip. And she's like, well, then why are they using it? And I'm kind of like, yeah, I feel you. I get it. Like, I know the spin rate doesn't increase, but if you're doing it for a reason, then it's got to kind of be, illegal. And she's like, there shouldn't be any cheating. You should clean it up. And then Tyler Glasnow got hurt. And I was like, well, whether or not it's true, he's blaming Manfred for it. And a lot of people are saying that you can't do it mid-season. And she was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if you're cheating and they want to get rid of it, okay. And I said, all right, Ma, I get it. I kind of understand where you're coming from. But I don't know what happens if Jacob deGrom gets hurt tomorrow. And lo and behold, and I don't think, this is obviously not a sticky tack or sunscreen foreign objects issue. But right away she was like, okay, never mind. Like, I'm on your side. Fuck this. I don't care. Let them do it. I don't want anybody getting injured.
Why can't they figure this out though? Like, look, batters are allowed to use pine tar, right? Like, I don't know if that's a rule, but like, just let them use some stuff. Yeah. Let them use sunscreen and don't let them use spider tack. Like, why can't
that's
we figure
the
this
thing?
out?
The whole time they've just turned a blind eye to it, similar to steroids when nobody was hitting the ball and baseball was dying, and they're like, well, this is good for the game, until it became rampant. And it was like, it's one thing if you want to control the grip on the baseball. It's a totally different thing to call up some meathead strongman and say, I need that stuff where the ball barely leaves my finger. And then you got Gerrit Cole crying about it, like, "Oh, this isn't good for the game," and like, you need to feel bad for us. And it's like, we have your text messages with the weird fucking winky emoji asking for sticky stuff, and it's like, if you were just a normal baseball player like everybody else, and you spit and sunscreen and whatever else that's used and normal, then this wouldn't have been an issue. But when the rotation rates are through the roof, it's like, it's because you're actually cheating the game at that point. It's not you're just trying to hold on to the baseball.
I am now all for, I've gone back and forth. Like, I kind of understood what my mom was saying. Like, even if yes, I know the spin rate is the big deal. And I know that they're saying the sunblock is only for grip and safety, but like, you are doing it for a reason. There has to be some advantage you think you're gaining. So I understood that side of it. And then I was on, usually I'm on the side of like, fuck it, let them do steroids. So I'm like, why don't I say the same thing? Fuck them, let them do spider tack. Now, my thought, the only thing I care about is more Gerrit Cole tears. So I want him to clean up everything, because that dude, like, his voice quivering and literally breaking. And then he said, for Pete's sake.
He said, for Pete's sake. He said, for Pete's sake.
For Pete's sake, I'm just trying to throw the ball. For Pete's sake, I can't grip the ball. If you say for Pete's sake, you are a fucking loser, man. That guy, that's your king, Yankees fans. That's your guy. He was literally in tears, and he says things like, for Pete's sake. What a fucking dork.
I thought it was Carabas doing the Hubs voice at first. Because honest to God, because it was Carabas's tweet, and I'm like, oh, Carabas is doing this with like people. No, that's his. Oh, gotta use the sticky stuff. For Pete's sake.
Can we do a screen share? Can we pull it up and play that? Because that is. Yeah. I thought it couldn't get worse than his video a week ago when he stumbled and stuttered. This is just like, boy, this is supposed to be the big bad Kermit the Frog at all. Are you guys hearing that too? Are you
yeah. Kyle, I don't know if it's your connection.
There's some feedback coming. It sounds like fucking. That sounds
don't worry about it. Fuck it, it's fine. But that, I mean, if you take all of the crying that Trevor Bauer and Gerrit Cole is doing, I'm all about cleaning up the game, Like my guy doesn't do it, and these guys who I hate are gonna look like crybabies. Fucking clean the game up. It's Americana, it's records, it's sports, it's part of our society. Clean up baseball and the sticky stuff.
Well, and Trevor Bauer's upset about it, and I get it's because Major League Baseball completely butchered how they're fixing it. But Trevor Bauer, what in your fucking lifetime as a baseball player did you think they were going to fix it the right way? There's there's no fucking organization on the planet that I trust less than Major League Baseball to fix something. So he's the one who brought it up. He was fucking cheating right in their face, having ridiculous ERAs. And now, thank God, we don't have that $40 million tied up in him every year because he's about to if his ERA skyrockets, then like the Dodgers are just fucked for the next 3 years. So, hey, we got Kyle got
play this. Let's hear Gerrit.
It's hard to grip the ball.
But go check it out on Starting Nine. Gerrit Cole is just embarrassing himself. Yeah. Meanwhile, Taijuan Walker, another good. His ERA is probably going to be sub 2. I cannot believe we were the only. How good is our infrastructure? We're the only team that even made him an offer. The only fucking team. So he feels like allegiance towards the Mets. That's going to be if we can make it and everybody's healthy. And you've got Jake, who showed the undying loyalty to the Mets, and Taijuan Walker, who now says like I owe them, and like I feel like it's destiny that I was on this team because they're the only ones that signed me. I love that rotation right now, minus, and I love Joey Lucchese again. I love Joey Fuego. Sure. So, man, the rotation, Omar Minaya fan, our boy put up some stats. They're first and second in like everything that matters. It's bananas.
And let me just kind of go with that too. So Taijuan Walker, awesome. Strosho, awesome. Peterson did have that good start, and Lucchese has been good too. And I honestly think it's up to us to make Joey Lucchese great, right? It's up to us to fucking chant the chirv at him. It's up, like they say, like there's different dudes, like in all walks of life at Barstool. If you give someone, a little bit of confidence, they'll run with it, right? And if they don't feel like he came over here, he was from the West Coast, and he was in fucking New York and COVID, fucking just isolated and getting his shit pushed in on the baseball diamond, he was having a rough time. Now we got to lift him up. This is on all the fans, all 41,000 now that everyone can go. We all got to raise him up. I want to hear chirps every fucking game, especially during Lucchese starts. David Peterson, I'm going to give him a little bit of wiggle room. I was ready to fucking kill him before the last game, but he came through. And this is on us. And like whatever these fucking schmucks from AAA come up, we're probably going to get, we're going to gazelle him by the second inning. We just have to kind of like deal with that kind of stuff because we have we're in the middle of the gauntlet. Jake needs to take a rest, and Cookie and Thor are coming back no time soon. So everyone just like settle down and just thank God we have Taijuan fucking Walker. Thank God.
And you know what else? Thank God that the Puerto Rican is back. What a fucking pleasure that is to watch that guy. Am I right? When he had that, like, he pitched the final 2 innings of the second game, I think. It was just like dominance and complete trust, and like even like Diaz has completely earned my trust back. Well, I guess I shouldn't say completely. There's still like this like 99%, I'm always like still a little concerned. But Lugo, I just feel like is a professional relief pitcher. I know he wants to be a starter. I know he probably could be, but he's just so good in that spot that he's in now. And it's funny how in all of sports, all of the little different like subcategories and specializations of sports, the difference that one man can make for a bullpen where everybody else just falls back an inning is like immeasurable, because a guy trying to pitch the 9th when he's an 8th inning guy, or an 8th when he's a 7th, or a 7th when he's more of a middle relief guy, it's huge. And when he just drops back in, so these were the numbers. The starters are first in FIP, first in ERA, second in strikeout to walk percentage, first in fastball velocity, 96 miles an hour. The relievers are second in FIP, 7th in ERA, 4th in the K to walk percentage, and 3rd in fastball velocity. And if he goes on to say if Thor and Carrasco ever come back, that is a team, man. That's when they made it to the World Series. Was like everybody was like, I don't want to fucking face any of those dudes. Pitching. I know an everyday player is so valuable, but pitching still, in my mind, when pitching is good, it's still king and it still gets the job done. And right now,
And if some of these bats come back too and play the way we thought, I mean, I'm literally worried like McNeil, Conforto, you getting your jobs back because some of these guys are playing great in your spots. But if then they are the bench players,
I had my mask. I left it in the car. Last night, if you weren't following along, actually, can you pull that pickup, Kyle?
Yeah.
I tweeted out. I ordered a Villar mask because we ride together, we die together. You break your nose, I break my nose. I might just fucking. I want you to just punch me in the face, Clem. I want to have black eye and all that shit.
Get that nose broken.
You think we might get a Rip Hamilton situation where he's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? He's hitting home runs. He's gunning people down. He might just wear that mask the rest of the time now.
It's like a different player out there. I told you. I saw the Guillorme relay home, and I thought it was Mason Williams in the outfit because it looked like a black guy. And I was like, wait, why the fuck was he in the game at this point? Like, I love Williams, but it was a close game. You can't just have him out there. And then I guess it was Pillar with the mask. So it's just one of those weird kind of funky things with the season. And I was talking to my buddy last night, my doctor buddy, shout out my guy, Crazy Met Fan, which you got to love when there's a the only doctor in my life that I know, his nickname was Crazy Met Fan because he's a fucking lunatic. He said, there's the best.
I love it. It's pretty comfortable. It's pretty comfortable, and the space between your nose, like it's a lot. And I sat there, I punched myself a couple times. You protect the fuck out of your face with that thing. It's really good. But what did the crazy?
Actually, you should use that one. That one looks even better than the one he has. His looks like it's made out of like plaster and clay.
They said it was custom because I tried to buy his exact one. They said it was custom made, so I trust it's better. But this thing was the real, and it's comfortable. I might just start rocking this. I'm injury prone.
Put it in the merch store. Let's start selling masks. Put it in the merch store.
Oh my God! Imagine everybody walking around wearing protective masks for the Villar brothers. I would love it. But wait, what did Crazy Mets fans say, Clem?
He said other than Jake, who obviously clearly. Is Pillar or Villar our MVP? And I just think like the Vilars are it's just one person. The Vilars are the MVP. That is the team MVP right now, no matter what, right?
Yeah, I mean they have been.
Pillar is like that, like the sentimental MVP. Like I think he's now the core of the team. That happening, like whether or not the numbers actually add up, because the numbers have certainly been good. But even if he dies off, I'm like, that was the moment in this season so far, and I don't know if there's going to be a bigger one.
He was the MVP of the 2019 Giants, and I said that when we got him. I was like, he was the best player on a shitty team, but like he was still the best player, and we just got him as like the fourth outfielder. That's a great pickup. Anytime you're going to do that, and then
Good, sorry.
So then you got him getting hit in the face, and then you got Villar taking one in the ear hole, and the two of them are just like, well, I'm a backup player, so I'm not gonna sit out. I'm gonna lose my job, and I love that.
And that's what's most important is like the numbers are there, but the sentimental like for the fans is there, but it's like they led the replace Mets charge. They led the bench mob charge where it's like you're no longer the bench mob, you're just the mob. You're the Mets mob because you're just fucking playing now. You're the starters mob. And I mean, it depends on just how much longer these injuries loom. I mean, Conforto, I feel like you got to bring back, but I have no real allegiance to Brandon Nimmo and JD Davis as much as he's my guy, capital G. Every day that goes by that these guys keep hitting and playing, and the Mets. Let's talk about the Mets defense for a second, which is along with relief pitching. Mets defense minus the 99 2000 year where we had like the best defense of all time. The Mets defense has always been a nightmare, heart attack waiting to happen. And now they are fucking Tommy Mansky out there. Tommy Mansky's coming in his grave right now, coming into that fucking garbage can at home plate. Those guys, I said it every single week, their defensive shift is in the right spot 100% of the time. And when you got guys like Pillar to Guillorme to gun down Marisnik, like that's something that if it's Nimmo to JD Davis, that ain't happening. That ball's hitting like the fucking pitcher's mound and dribbling over to third base. So, and by the way, that I have to now re-rank my the things I love in baseball, like survival runs, like top of the list. I'd probably say after that, like what would I put in there? First pitch strikes in like the beginning, like when a tight inning, like the 8th inning, and we have a 1-run lead, and like if this pitch is a ball, we're gonna lose. If this pitch is a strike, we're in good shape. But a relay gun down on the swing you experience from that's a double in the gap and that's going to score a run to never mind it's an out and now like we're almost out of the inning is enormous. Gunning or a sack fly, catch it, throw him out at home like double play. Oh, those get me going, man. I feel that in my plums. What a moment that was.
Shout out Jake Marisnik for finally coming through for us. A fucking year later, a team later, but he finally fucking came through. It's an unbelievable moment.
The Cubs third base coaches. That's send horrendous.
Did you guys think he thought he just had more in the tank? Do you think he once he sent him and he realized that he's running in quicksand, it was like, oh, whoops.
He didn't know it was Villar. He didn't know it was Villar out there. He thought it was fucking somebody else.
Oh, there you go.
These guys, they don't know, when you're the third base coach of the Cubs, you think you're paying attention all that much to the Mets, constant revolving door of players? Like, he doesn't know who's got good arms and good defense out there. By the way,
honestly, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. Like he's thinking like, I know the Mets have shitty defense. Like they're never good. Like, that's why, now that I think about it, that's why every team's having such a hard time playing us, because they're like, I have no idea who this fucking guy is. Where do we shift him? Where do we pitch him? And then they're like, well, we'll just throw it down the middle and we'll figure it out from there. And then our pitchers keep it close and then we win the ballgame. It's like preparing for a quarterback all week and then you find out on Saturday that he's hurt. And then you got to deal with like the crafty guy that runs the ball more than throws the ball. And you're like, well, we're fucked. Well, the difference is usually those replacement guys, they don't have the book on them, but they also kind of suck, so you can get away with it. When all these guys decide to play their best baseball, I mean, literally all of them have played almost all the way to their potential, I would imagine. You're going to be fucked. And on the verge of a 4-game sweep here of the Cubs, shit's no joke, man. I mean, this team is just like, for all of the concern and worry, also fucking – I almost getting a little bit greedy, starting to take things for granted. I was kind of like, I almost expected, obviously, with Jake on the mound, and I feel like we've exercised the demons a little bit. Like, we've scored enough runs for him recently. We've won enough games of his starts recently that I was like, nice, yeah, great that we're going to win, but at what cost here with Jake? I almost started like penciling W's in and more worried about the big picture and the long run, which is famous last words for a Mets fan. But at what point, I'll pose this question. At what point will you be, like in 2006, I remember being like, we're going to win every series. And it was a surprise when we didn't at least take 2 out of 3. And that probably started to really cook like mid-season where I was like, holy shit, this team's awesome. When time-wise or wins-wise or calendar-wise will you be like, I think we're going to beat almost, minus like the White Sox or some of these really, really good teams. We should beat like everybody we face.
I would have thought that literally starting right now, because we would have just been the Padres. We'd take at least three against the Cubs. If Jake was healthy and we had our top 3 guys healthy, I'd say every series I expect 2 out of 3. And the rest of this gauntlet, I'd see no problem why we couldn't do it. It's just now that like the best pitcher in the universe is gone. And I don't know when I was saying this to Brent and Kyle before we started, like I wasn't even excited about yesterday. Everyone's like, happy deGrom Day. I'm like, happy deGrom Day. Let's just see him get through a fucking game first. And now like, I don't know. It's like I kind of like missed the days when we were like, oh, I hope the offense scores and the bullpen doesn't blow it. Those are fucking champagne problems compared to the shit we're dealing with every Jake start now, where every time he does that little twist, I'm like, oh God. And you know what? Every single time he does anything other than his robotic fucking motion, it ends up being like end of his start kind of a thing.
Yeah,
he ends up finishing the inning, strikes out a guy in a 102-mile-per-hour fastball, and then goes in the dugout and leaves. So it's.
I think. No, finish up, Glenn.
No, I have confidence even without Jake that like we're going to be in the mix. But with Jake, I honestly think I was going to be like 2006. I expect 2 out of 3, or I think we should win 2 out of 3 every game.
I think yesterday we were very close. I was like getting chills, and I was trying to check myself and being like, we shouldn't get too confident here. But he was just mowing people down. It was like the other, Big Cat was talking about it. Like he was trending. Everybody, we knew we were on the verge, and that's exactly when, as a Mets fan, you should have been like, "Oh wait, just calm down." But to compare it, but like 2006, it was like, we had just like everybody having all-star seasons. So I feel like I don't know if I'll get to that level. That's what I thought they could be, because I thought we were going to have Pete Alonso absolutely lock for an all-star game. I thought Conforto had a shot. I thought McNeil had a shot. And then if the pitching came together, but I don't know. We just keep winning games, and we love all the players, but I don't know if we have those like front page kind of guys that you're just going to instill that much confidence. But look at the numbers. I mean, we're winning at that rate, so it feels
it's a
good.
ranked group, so it's tough to see like down the stretch. You have to at least wait until I'd like to see them pick up another pitcher or something to stabilize the end of the rotation. We're like throw out the whole Jake thing. Like even with Jake healthy, they need somebody else because you don't know what Carrasco is going to be when he comes back. You don't know if Noah is going to actually even end up with us in September. We need at least one more pitcher. And I think if they go get that guy, then we don't have to worry about if Jake's hurt or not. And then we can get him that rest. But up until then, you need somebody else because
the trading deadline is your friend now, man. Like, we're not going to be sellers anymore. People, almost don't remember. Like, we're so used to bad moves at the deadline. And I will admit that, like, we thought the Stroman deal was so terrible. And now I know he had he had to re-sign. But if we didn't make that move, I don't know if he considers the Mets. And, Stroman's been unbelievable. But, remember the days of Cespedes where it's like, what if we push the right button the way we've been pushing the right button on the small moves? What if we push the right button on a big move? And, I would almost hate though. Like, I would like to go get another bat. Well, I guess no. I guess they probably would go after pitching, right? Just with the fourth and fifth spot kind of being a question mark. But it's like you almost hate to maybe not go after a bat or not go after someone else because now we have to worry about Jake's injury. It's almost like the Duaner Sanchez effect where it's like we had to make a move now because of an injury that kind of left. Was like we could have made a different move we needed, but. But the the trade deadline is going to be your friend this year. We're going to be buyers in a big way, I think. That Stevie Cohen's got, probably got an itchy trigger finger for his first big deadline. So, I mean, it's
and
not
just
that
the fact that we don't have the Wilpons because they would say that our acquisitions are going to be Thor and Carrasco. Like that's a Wilpon move, and that would never work in a million years. I feel like maybe that will work, and we'll get somebody just in case, and just have excess.
The Wilpons would be peddling a Francisco Lindor acquisition. They would say he's going to find his groove, and it's going to be like we're acquiring Lindor. Which, by the way, I think now over the last decent chunk of starts, he's batting 268, almost 270, which he certainly has not been overly impressive, but much more just serviceable while he continues to go out there and still be a leader and still have that flashy glove. Again, if you haven't listened to the Trevor May interview, the way he described Lindor, it's all the things you don't see as a fan. So before you go crush him and say, get him out of here or we should have never signed him, when the team tells you themselves that he's what's so important to us, then you fucking should know that too. Said there was the quiet leader in Jake and the vocal leader in Lindor, and that he's always been around winning teams and whatnot. So just keep that in mind. I want to just suck Rom's dick a little bit more. Let me just give you these stats real quick because I saw this last night. This dude, Tango Tiger. I don't know. You guys follow him at all? He's an MLB data guy. So he compared Pedro's 99 to 2001 and Kershaw's 2015 to 2017. And Jake is squarely right in between those two. He's having from his 2018 till now is better than Kershaw's most dominant 3-year run, which, I mean, when Kershaw was in the middle of that, I was like, we are watching the greatest pitcher of all time. And compare that to Jake's peak, Jake is just straight up better than him. And when you compare it to Pedro's 99, 2000, 2001, he's actually a little bit below him. So right in between best Pedro of all time, best Clayton Kershaw of all time. That's what Jake DeGrom is right now. And no signs of slowing down, only getting better. I was almost surprised that Pedro's 99 to 2001 was better than him. I thought Jake would have just been better than everybody at this point. But we gotta go. Yeah, okay. I gotta run. If you guys can just wrap up without me, I gotta do this Barstool thing. But pray for Jacob DeGrom. Belief. Just have to fucking belief.
Hey, Positive K, it's all right. I'm going to call you Positive K right now, too. That's going to be looking in. Chirping, baby, chirping.
Chirp.
And he's gone.
That's how we got Positive K now in the mix. He's
Positive K, I like that.
Side of things. That's the thing about deGrom that does scare me is that like he just keeps pitching faster, and it feels like a fucking star is just getting brighter and brighter. I'm like, just don't burn out, Jake.
He's about the supernova.
Yeah, he's a fucking supernova. There's no other way to describe it. So those stats are just like Pedro doing that during the height of the steroid era is just on its own level. And I know they have different ways to account for different eras and shit like that, which, by the way, this was the other stat I wanted to throw out there for all the fucking Lindorks. Put this in your pipe and smoke it. Francisco Lindor currently tied for the lead in F4 on the Mets with Jonathan Villar. So after a fucking nightmare beginning of the season in position players, that is, he is tied for first on the Mets in F4. So it's like everything's fucking like all our guys are starting to come together. McNeil should be back this weekend, Kyle, next week.
They're hoping.
That's what I was in AAA.
He's had his AAA. Yeah, he's had his rehab start. So technically, he should be back and available this weekend. We'll see. They're in no hurry to get him back. Like, let's be honest. They're going to put him. They said that they might try him out in left field for a couple games, and I'm like, well, that's a disaster waiting to happen. Like, let him run into the fucking wall again. What are we doing? But it is what it is. So far, every button they've pressed has been the right one, so you can't complain. But why would you rush him back to then play out of position again?
Yeah, and we do have, like, now that Guillorme is back, MVR has become such a staple. It's tough to, like, those guys can all rotate, you could give him Lindor a rest if you want, just to get everyone, a game. You wouldn't want to, especially now that he's actually hitting. But, like, that's the thing. Like, if we got something at the deadline, it feels like third base or center would be the two places you get a bat, but we have like multiple options at both of those. It's Brett. It's like you said, like, and like you used to say, like, you could always find there's not like we have 9 automatic lock all-star superstars at their position, but it's like we have fucking depth at every fucking spot. It's crazy to see as someone who's lived with those Wilpon, like, oh, don't worry about it, and we're living with the Eric Campbells of the world, and Jose Reyes playing third fucking base for us. Jose Reyes was our third baseman like 3 years ago. That's crazy to think about.
It's weird. I have to admit, I'm not saying I'm wrong or right here, but because it wasn't like I was adamant I knew the answer. But early in the season, it seemed like Rojas was shuffling these guys around a little too much for my liking. Because I was like, what is Villar playing for? Like, we need to get McNeil in as much as possible. Like, we need to let these guys work out of their problems. What are we shuffling in Villar here and there? JD Davis is our guy. And now it's just like I didn't know that those guys were that good, and Rojas did. So I'm not anointing Rojas and trying to be like an apologist for him either. He's still fucked up a lot of stuff. But now with these guys coming back, I'm a lot more comfortable with it being like a rotation. I do worry though that like baseball is like streaky, and you need to let hitters get hot. And are you going to be able to do that if McNeil comes back and is playing well? Are we going to be able to spread the at bats around? But that's the job of a manager. That's not the job. That's not my job. And depth, depth is good.
Because it looks like Dom Smith might be coming out of whatever it is. We keep saying that. He keeps just showing like glimpses of he's going to be the old Dom that we saw last year. That was a very short sample size, so it could be that he's just a streaky guy. He could be like Alonso, where it comes to he's just going to have a stretch of 5, 6, 7 games where he's on the ball and driving it to all the fields and hitting home runs. And if that's what it is, great. But you have him in left field. You're saying you're going to bring back McNeil to potentially play second and left field. Now Dom's kind of left out on an island. And then you have McCann subbing in at first base. We have a lot of guys who are playing multiple positions. So it's if you're pressing the right player at the right moment and they're hitting, great. But if you're putting somebody in there and taking at-bats away from somebody who's hot, I know down the stretch it's going to drive me insane if we have, for instance, Peraza at second base to get somebody some rest, but you don't put VR or McNeil in the lineup.
Right.
Like, you can't just continually do that and expect to be successful. You need to let them get into a groove.
I like the analytical side of it if it works. Right. I think that some of these guys in the front office look at like faceless positions and they go, we need to get X amount of home runs out of left field, not out of Dom Smith, or it's like a combination of all that stuff. but it's not as sexy as just like we pick the right players, we put them in the right positions, they play every day, and they're good. It's like, the chess match. But if it works, then I fucking love it. So it goes both ways.
And that's the thing with Rojas, with the lineups or the bullpen. It's like if it's him, it's him, and God bless, because it's working, right? But if you tell me it's the Ivy League nerd and you put him in front of a microphone and he's just like some little pimply nerd, I'd be like, that's the guy pushing the buttons. That's fine. Whatever works, works. I'm not going to fucking question it. And I think at this point, even when they bring up people from the minors, if they make a trade, even if they make like a weird signing, like I think the front office has enough goodwill invested with the fans now that like just trust what they're going to do. I mean, Lucchesi has been up and down, but I mean, he's kind of peaking in the right direction. It's been there's a lot of weird things going on because of the COVID and all that other kind of shit that like, when they bring up that dude whose last name I cannot pronounce from the minors, that seems to be the next guy. Yaramoto was a goddamn disaster, but he was hurt, I guess. Everyone just like relax, take a chill pill. We're in first fucking place. We're in first place for 10 games over 500. As of recording, it's June 17th. This could change to the better by the time people hear this the next day. But Bren, what is our win pace right now? Do you know what it is?
I think it will be, if we win today, it'll be exactly 96.
That's right. It's 95 as of Thursday morning.
Yeah.
So it's 96 with a win. And that's with, I mean, not everything going wrong, but almost everything going wrong in terms of injuries. And we're somehow still on that path. Like, there's a lot of reasons to be fucking terrified of this MRI, which do we know when this is coming, these results? Is it Thursday, Friday? Like, that's going to just hang over our head. The Mets could go out tonight and win 100-0. There's just going to be that fucking lingering feeling until we get the news, good, bad, or ugly. So, just think of that whenever you guys are fucking thinking about I don't think there's a lot of negativity left. I think Frank the Tank has now moved on to the Nets, who are one game away from the Eastern Conference Finals, as his new target to complain about, which, by the way,
he said, I can't believe the Nets no-show. And I mean,
Kevin Durant had 49 and played every minute.
and yeah, I mean, I know they were down, but I'm like, I can't imagine having Kevin Durant and being down like 17 in the second quarter. It's like this game. You thought that game was over. That's like, Jacob deGrom is a healthy Jacob deGrom is up, and you're like, oh God, what's gonna go wrong here? I'm like, I mean, you're good, dude. You're good.
He's done that too. He's complaining when Jacob deGrom's on the mound. And granted, like, they were winning games once upon a time, but there's no reason to, everything is going to work out fine in the end, which takes me to a time that didn't work out good in the end. But I'm throwing a fucking asterisk on that goddamn Royals World Series, because I don't know if you saw Ryan Spader's tweet, which was like the most innocuous, all his stuff was very vague, and I don't think he probably wanted to call out his sources. White Sox Dave blogged it, but he went through all these different, because he loves baseball and the cheating going on, and he says the Royals were the first team with a full analytics and video department close by their dugout, doing so in 2015, the World Series championship year. How they used it, I do not know. This has absolutely no accusations on this tweet. But that's enough for me. Major League Baseball can just change the rules whenever they want. The Mets won that World Series. I want the World Series championship. I want asterisks anywhere that lists the Royals as world champions.
I would love to discredit them, but unless that video department somehow figured out that through watching and cheating through video that the Mets would blow the game with fucking 5 innings of a total series, they completely still blew it.
Unless that camera made Lucas Duda throw that ball into the stands on that Hosmer dash home, then I'm all for asterisks. Let's throw an asterisk, but we didn't deserve it.
The deja vu camera with Denzel Washington walking around back in time, where he can figure out how to beat the Mets. That's pretty much the only way. Otherwise, we beat ourselves.
Oh, it's like Doctor Strange. It's like there were 14 million ways that the Mets won that World Series, and the Royals found the one.
Yep. Listen to you fucking dolts. This is the thing. When you're facing a team that throws absolute gas, if you know the fastball's coming, you can at least chip it off. And then when the breaking shit comes, the off-speed shit, then you can make – so this fucking contact, it was all fucking farce from the top on down. They made the World Series the year before. I don't know how they did that, and they only lost to basically Bumgarner, right? But the year that they played us was a bunch of bullshit. It's bullshit. It's malarkey. We were hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived. I'd ask Rob Manfred to do the right thing. He doesn't even know what the fucking right thing is here. But then the other tweet, which I think we could all rally around here, that this was the other thing that kind of got into Nets fandom. This one hurts to say. This is Ryan Spader speaking, not me. This one hurts to say. My favorite player ever, quote unquote, Chase Utley was the biggest cheater of all time.
Ooh, shocker.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he broke a guy's leg on purpose. You thought that guy was like a fine, upstanding individual? Come on.
He's like the autotypical or the prototypical villain that you cast in every single movie about a baseball player. He's got like the slicked back hair and like the greasy. Oh,
bad guy.
God. Yes.
He's a villain. Hit my wife with a line drive. I mean, he's a terrible person.
That's right.
Didn't he point at her afterwards and he said, "You're next"? He pointed at you. I was like, Jesus Christ, Chase Utley.
I mean, he's vicious. He's a terrible person. Kicks puppies. He's awful. Awful human being.
Utley, you Butley till the day I die. Utley, you Butley. So, I mean, even the fucking like random reports about cheating are coming up in the Mets, favor here. So you don't see that every day. But I feel like we're in a good place as a fan base right now. There's one little body part that can completely throw us into disarray, but I mean, positive vibes only. I think everyone has to kind of do their part. If you have like a lucky, something you do during, say, football season, something, not just Met season, whatever you do, any kind of good luck charm you have. I'm wearing my Uncle Stevie shirt today. We're throwing the positive vibes out there. Everyone has to just do their part to just whatever it takes to just whenever. I don't know when the fuck they're even doing these tests, when they're going to come back, but like, do nice things, do good deeds for others, hold the door extra longer so the person can run into the grocery store, whatever it may be. Like everyone, it's all hands on deck. We get your chirps going when you're at the game. Fucking buy a Dunkin' Donut, buy an iced coffee for the person behind you at the drive-thru, whatever it fucking takes. Just all good juju, positive vibes only, nothing but good thoughts. We're going to fly to Never Never Land, basically. That's what the World Series is, good thoughts only. All right? So, Brent, do you have like any kind of good luck charm that you like do during the games? I mean, Mike McClancy, I feel like raised some crazy people, so I feel like there has to be something deep in your soul.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been crazy out here. I usually just have like a spot that you got to get locked in for like a playoff run. So you're telling me we're at that stage now where it's like I got to watch it, because that's normally it. It's just I got to be in my spot. I got to be locked in the same way. Once we start winning, then that usually like locks in. I have to do the same thing every time. I remember I was like, I had to watch World Series games alone because like I watched a few playoff games alone. I was like, this is just what we got to do. But I don't know if that applies for like Jacob deGrom injuries. What do I have to just like sit on the couch and be like, until we get the news?
Go get the laptop and sit in that spot, because like until those MRI results come back, I need everyone doing like either good juju stuff, good deeds, no matter what. Just put it into the air. The baseball gods see all. Kyle, do you have any kind of like good luck things that you do along the way?
No. I sometimes I'll do a crack the rally beer when I feel like the team's in like a tough spot, where I'm sitting in the same spot all game. And,
we need you drinking until we get the Jacob deGrom
responsibly.
news.
I had the big chill yesterday when deGrom got hurt. I was like, I got to chill out, and I went and got a tall boy for a Coors Light out in the stadium. Totally worth it. But a little bit of alcohol always helps.
The MRI is not for like 3 days. Has to go on like a bender.
Kyle's been celebrating responsibly for 3 full days now, waiting for these Jake deGrom. So there you go. Get your Coors Lights. That should be. Get your Coors Lights. Wear your Felix Gray glasses as because we're gonna be checking our screens nonstop for the next, however many hours, days it is. So get your Felix Grays on. A lot of screen time is going to be going on. Coors Lights. And good vibes, chill only. We're just going to chill from here on out. So first place, we're going to be in, and who do we have? What's the upcoming? Is it the Braves this weekend?
Nationals. And we have double headers. So this is a big stretch, but the shorter games are going to benefit us, especially if Jank's not throwing. So if we can do a couple bullpen games, we pull up somebody from the minors, you let Lugo and Sean Reed Foley get their, plus innings, 3 innings, hopefully each, got Selman. We have enough guys where I think we could put a Band-Aid on this thing until we figure out what's going on with Jake, but I wouldn't expect him this weekend. Even if he says he's good to go, I don't think they're going to let him.
10-day IL. I just throw him on the IL. You figure it out in 10 days. That's just me, a professional idiot.
I'd also just punt a Peterson game if we had to. Like I would let Peterson throw 150 pitches. Like if he goes out there and gives up early runs, I'd be like, we're resting everybody. This is what it is. You never want to give up on a game, but I don't want to like scrape and claw, especially if it's like a 7-inning game. You're going to go 7. You're going to, your ERA is going to hit infinity, but we're going to be back and ready, because we can't just have everything thrown into chaos because he can only go 2/3 of an inning.
Right. Yeah. A lot of the a lot of the young starters we've traded the last few years under Brody, they would be coming up now. Unfortunately, they're no longer here. So at least one of them we got Stroman for, even though Wheeler would be fitting in pretty fucking well in this rotation right now, too, for the record. But
I just don't think I have the same feeling about him as Daniel Murphy. Like he just wasn't going to do that for us.
Yeah,
I know that doesn't make any logical sense, but maybe it does. And with Cohen, all sorts of things have changed. But it's like Justin Turner. Like they just let Justin Turner swing how he wanted to swing, and he like became an MVP candidate. I'm sure we wouldn't have done what Wheeler wanted, and he just wouldn't be pitching as well for us.
Also, they just picked up Nick Tropiano, who we had before the season started. He was like a Brody casualty. He was a starter for the Angels for 4 seasons before he got hurt. He kept getting hurt, and they kept sending him down. Then he went to the Yankees for spring training. They figured out through analytics that he needed to throw one more pitch more often. Went to the Pirates, had a great year. Pitched great for the Giants so far this year. So he's another guy that could fill up a spot. We'll see.
Whatever the fuck it takes, man. All hands on deck. Just like get us like everyone. I just want them to pitch one start. If they get hurt, we cut them. We pick up the next guy. Just get us like. I mean, I'm not even asking like 6 innings. I'll take like 4 innings of like 2 earned runs, and that's all I'm asking. Gesellman can get a couple long games in. We have the 2 big boys still left, and then if Lucchesi and/or Peterson can have like a quality start here and there, I feel like we could cobble this together. The offense I believe in, and the defense. I saw that was the other thing. We're second in defensive run saves so far this season, behind only the Padres. So, like, put that all together. That's how you fucking win. Big hits, defense, and fucking pitching in the bullpen, which has been, again, Trumpets comes in, gets the 1 out on the second deGrom, like fucking sky is falling day in a week. So shout out Edwin Diaz, 100 out of 100 confidence last time we talked about this. It was us 3, I remember, and I was 100 out of 100. So
and we laughed. You're
yes,
right. You're so far you've been right, Clem. So
you laughed at our face, my face. You might have pointed as you laughed. I don't remember. I'll have to go back and check the film, but it's all right. It's all positive vibes. We're all one fucking team. The trumpets blow. We feel good. We throw the Coors Lights down. Blue Mountains, chill sunglasses. It's all good. First place. Let's fucking roll. Goddamn sweet the Cubs tonight. That feels so sweet. So first place, let's go. We got a big fucking NL East gauntlet coming up. We gotta believe.
Gotta believe.